to Greetingstar. I'm so glad you could join me today.
Hello friends, thanks for joining me today. I have got some cards for you that I made using two different techniques and they're kind of like 2-for-1 cards. So you can see these beautiful cards here. If you look at the background, you can see that, I don't know if you can see the ones at the top, the two at the top look like they were embossed, but I did that with a stencil. And then the two at the bottom were kind of look a little bit watery, like watercolor. So the one on the left there is the one that looks like the watercolor. So after you use the stencil to apply pigment to the cardstock, then you're going to spritz it and use some cardstock on top of it with a brayer to get sort of an imprint of the color that's left. So I don't know if you can see that demonstration in these two cards, but you'll see that in a moment. But I made these cards with the Spellbinder's Kaleidoscope Arch collection. They have some beautiful dies, stamps, and even a BetterPress plate in the collection. I didn't get the BetterPress plate. I just bought the stamps and the dies, but it's definitely worth a look over there on spellbinderspaperarts.com. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started making the card today. First, I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the products. So you can see these are the three products. Oh, and then the stencil there on the right, I didn't mention that. So these are the cutting dies. It's called the Stitched Kaleidoscope Arch. Now you can use this die with or without the stitched portion. So you can see on the back here that you get some of those beautiful florals and then that beautiful arch. And then these stamps coordinate with that arch. You can stamp that right in the arch. And then I love those flowers too. And then you get some beautiful words that you can use right there on the bottom of that stitched arch. And you can even cut them out with that little tag die that you see over on, or that banner die. And here's the stencil. Again, that's the Kaleidoscope window stencil and the Kaleidoscope arch stamps, and then the stitched Kaleidoscope arched dies. Now this is just a quick little demonstration to show you that you can use this die like that and you don't have to put the stitching lines in. So it puts the stitching lines and the little holes for you to run the thread through if you would like to do that, but you don't have to do that. This is just a little example to show you, but it's very lovely. I think it's quite beautiful if you choose to do that, if you're interested in it. Some people like to sew and some people do not, so it's certainly up to you. Now these two pieces are unique because you can use them behind to create a shadow, which you can see demonstrated here on the product. Or I use them in my card today to go over the top. Now they're two different dies, and right now I'm just showing you the banner and then also the words that you can use inside the banner. But you can also stamp all those words from the stamp set on that banner as well. So that's something else you can do. But again, those two, I'm just showing you the florals and so on that come in this. But a little bit later on in the video, you'll see how those two dies right there that I just placed on the magnet are actually two different dies. Now this beautiful stamp set I love so much. Thanks so much for everything. So there's lots of different ways you can use this. You can be creative and kind of just depending on the look you're going for, but I think it creates such a lovely professional looking card. So this is another sentiment that I think can go along with it because you can use these words on that banner die. So I really love this stamp set. Now this one I checked on this website for spellbinderspaperarts.com and it's not available anymore, but I did find it on Amazon and some other places, so you can check around. But I'm going to make a Mother's Day card. I know it's just a little bit early for Mother's Day, but it'll be coming up pretty soon, sooner than you think. So here we go. And I'm just demonstrating here that you can stamp the word happy there. Okay, so let's move on to the technique. So I've got a piece of, I think this is like 80-pound Nina Solar White cardstock, and I'm just going to run this through my Spellbinders Platinum using this embossing pad. That's that brown pad, and the platform will show you how to do it. So you're just going to put the platform down, then you're going to put the stencil down, and then you're going to put the paper, and then the tan embossing mat, and then you'll use that blue embossing plate instead of the acrylic cutting plates. So you can see how my sandwich is right there. And then I'm just going to run this through my platinum. Actually, this was the big one. I used the big one because I couldn't find my small blue embossing plate. So I just used the large one, but you can use the small one too. That stencil, I believe, is 6 inches, so it will go through the Platinum 6. Okay, so now I'm going to use some tape to tape this down. And again, don't forget, I ran that cardstock through my die cutting machine, so even though you can't see it, it does have that raised, embossed, dry embossed look to it. Now this is just a piece of, it's a palette pad from Amazon Basics. I don't think they're selling them anymore. They're not available right now. But just use any non-porous surface that you have. And I am using some Gelatos, and I'm putting the Gelatos down. I'm rubbing it on the palette pad, and then I'm picking it up with these blender brushes. Now these are some just like makeup brushes that I got on Amazon, and it comes in a pack of like 6, but there's different sizes. So I actually purchased a couple different sets, and so I can have enough small brushes to use for the small spaces. Or you can use any blender brushes that you have. But I'm using these Gelatos in the yellow color and then like the salmon color. And I also use that green there is from the Metallics Gelatos. So some of them are matte and some of them are metallic. And then this beautiful dark green for the leaves on this flower. I just think so pretty. It's so beautiful. I just love these colors together, the yellow and the pinks and the greens. It's just beautiful spring color. So it's perfect for a color scheme for a Mother's Day card. So I'm going to trim this down to fit on my card, but before I do, this is how you can get a 2-for-1. So the stencil has lots of pigment still on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape it down to my palette pad and spritz it all over with water. I want to spritz it liberally. Then I'm going to take a brayer and rub it over the cardstock, and I'm kind of pressing a little bit hard because I want to make sure that pigment comes up, and I also want to make sure I get a good impression there so you can see that impression. And I will use that in another card in a little bit, but today I'm going to demonstrate this one for you. So I've got my beautiful background, and I'm going to be using the dies to cut out. You can see the dies. I already cut out the arch and the banner, and now I'm going to use the stamps to stamp. Now I've also got several of those colored dies that I'm trying to think here. I don't know what to call them, but these ones right here. What I did was I just took the Gelatos and rubbed it on a piece of paper and then cut out those dies. Now I was thinking I might use gold, and you can tell that these two, they're different. You can tell that one would go better in the background. The one in the top goes better for like a background to create like maybe shading or something for the background or a shadow. But the other one I think goes better on the top. So I put them on the top instead of behind to use as a shadow. So that's what I did, and I'll show you that. So if you're going to do that, you have to cut out 2, and then you need to so that's using that one in the background, and then this one I'm going to use on top. And you can see that there's like one extra, so you'll have to cut one of those little pieces off, and you'll have to cut it out twice to go all the way around the arch. And then I'm using these beautiful so there's my background, and then this beautiful little salmon colored cardstock is also, that's from the Color Essentials cardstock from Spellbinders, but I'm using this die. This is the Deckled Rectangles Large. I'm not sure if they're available on Spellbinders. I forgot to check, so I'll if it is, it'll be in the links down below for you. Okay, so this is kind of me trying to decide what color I want to go on the top of that arch. Any of these colors really would work because they're in the background of the card, but I'm so finicky. I have such a hard time deciding, what I want to do. And I'm very, I don't know what the word is, but I'm so funny about how it looks and what I want to do with it. It's silly how I can be so nutty about it. But anyway, So I'm taking some of these gelatos and I'm going to rub it onto some cardstock. And once I've put it down on the cardstock, that definitely looks like crayon, doesn't it? But it's so much smoother than crayon. You see how it just blends really nicely on that card base. Now this has kind of a wispy look to it, and I wanted it to be a little bit more smooth, but it kind of looks more wispy. This one looks more creamy, doesn't it? But I wanted to kind of match that cardstock, and the orange was too much, so I applied that orange over the pink, and it gave me a better match, I thought, to that deckled rectangle background. So I'm going to use my dies, the floral dies that come in the Kaleidoscope Arch dies, and I'm going to cut out some florals as well as that little arch thing here. So I do a lot of that coloring so I can get all the different pieces that I need. You'll see later on I do the same thing with the florals. So I think this is going to be such a pretty little card. I'm just so excited about it. I can't wait to give it to Mom for Mother's Day. But it's going to be beautiful. I just love it. Love, love, love it. Now I'm going to use... this is my, gosh, this thing is so old. I've had it for such a long time, but I love it. I love it. I love it. I know I've never bought a Misty, you guys. I know so many people in the card making world use their Misty, but I bought this thing. This is from We Are Memory Keepers, and then they didn't have it available for a long time, and I think now they do. But it's just so much easier to use this one because it's small, for one. I like that. I can store it right there on my desk without having to go and put it away. And so that's kind of nice. And then I've just got like one of those sticky cutting mats for my, I have a Cameo electronic cutting machine, so that's that sticky mat down there. But anyway, I'm kind of going off topic. So this here is the Kaleidoscope Arch stamps. And then I'm also using that other stamp set that doesn't come in the Kaleidoscope Arch collection, and that is it's not available though, I don't think. It's the Build a Sentiment stamp set from Spellbinders that says Mother's Day, but I'm sure you guys probably have a Mother's Day stamp in your collection anyway if you don't have that particular one. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my card assembled here in a moment. Let's see, what am I doing? Oh, I think I'm trying to adhere this to the beautiful arch here, like this. So I'm just using some Tombow mono adhesive here, and you'll see in a moment, I think I'll show you, I have to cut off a piece of it. So let's see what I do here. I'm just letting that stay there for a while to hold it. That's just an acrylic block I'm using. So you can see how there's one extra, so I'm just going to cut that off. You see? So I'll just cut that one off, no biggie. No biggie. Quick little snip and you're good to go, and nobody will know the difference. But I think it's so pretty on the front instead of the back, you know? That's one of the things that's nice about some of these products is if you, you know, you don't always have to use them exactly the way the product shows them being used. Sometimes you can be a little more creative and get a little more use out of them. I like doing that anyway. I just try to see what looks good to my eye, and that obviously isn't always going to be exactly what somebody else likes, but you know, we do what we come up with in our mind. We use our own creativity and come up with our own ideas, and it's kind of fun. And I'm just using this this is like score tape. It's a little bit of a stronger adhesive, so that way, since my card panel here it's embossed, so it's got some raised edges and some valleys, and that's kind of hard to make it stick down. You could use you know, liquid adhesive too. That would work well for something like this, because you definitely want it to stick well to your card base since it has those hills and valleys. Okay, so now for this little panel, I wanted it to kind of stick up, but I didn't want to use thick foam tape, or, you know, I just wanted just a little tiny bit of elevation. So I'm just going to use 2 pieces of cardstock, and I think this is my leftover piece of 80-pound cardstock. I'm just going to glue those together and then glue it on the back of this rectangle. And that's just going to be a mat for my centerpiece, which is that beautiful arch that I created. And again, I'm going to use that score tape so that it has a better adhesive. I have some trouble getting that peel away off, that release tape off. So I end up just putting Tombow Mono on it anyway, which you'll see in a minute. I keep on trying so hard to get that release tape off. It was so hard. It's so funny. I'm telling you, sometimes it comes off so easy, and then sometimes it's like takes forever. But I just went ahead and added some extra liquid adhesive just in case. Because those gelatos, actually, they do have kind of a, they're very creamy. So they have kind of something in them that might make it difficult for that adhesive to stick to it. So I think the liquid adhesive was probably the way to go. Okay, so now I'm just using these metallic gelatos to put on my cardstock here so I can do some more die cutting. And the floral is going to be the same color, and then this green here I'm going to use for the stems and the leaves and so on and so forth. I'm just rubbing this onto my cardstock to get it to look nice and smooth. And I should have had that piece of scratch paper underneath so I didn't make a mess on I'm always making a mess on my on my mats. I cannot stop from making a mess. I try to remember to be neat, but I just can't do it. If you have any tips for me on that, let me know down below in the comments. Okay, so I'm just going to die cut all of these out so I can put them on my card. And I do several of them. You can see here I've cut out several different ones, so I think I had to color some more than what you saw me do there, put some more gelatos down and stuff. But now I'm just going to place these florals on my card and trying to just get an arrangement that is sort of well balanced on both sides, and not necessarily symmetrical, but just kind of more well balanced. And I was thinking, since these are the same color as the background, or close to the background, I kind of wanted it to stand out a little. So I thought I'll add some red gelato to the edges of these flowers and see, kind of blend it out a little bit, and that'll give me a little bit of definition. But I wasn't entirely pleased with the red, so I think I tried using some white for the second one. So we'll see how that goes there. I'm just playing around. That's kind of, I'm not like, I just have different ideas and I got to try them out. So I just do what I can come up with to try to figure out how to make it look better. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm very picky and peculiar about the way the way something looks, and I kind of drive myself nuts. Are you the same way? Do you kind of have a hard time trying to get a look that you want? I don't know. I just sometimes get a hard time. And then look, I stained my white, but that doesn't matter. I'll just put a flower over it. That works too. Okay, so I'm just I just love that green color. It's like a light green, kind of a yellowish green color. It's so pretty, so beautiful. And it's the metallic gelatos too, so it has a little bit of a shiny or sheen to it, which is really cool. I love that. I think it's really nice. So does the salmon. That's also from the metallic set. So you can see here I'm just laying these out, trying to decide how I'm gonna put them on my card. And I really love these flowers. Aren't they pretty? They're so pretty. And I like the ones that have the two pieces like that, where the little buds coming out of the center. That's really pretty, I think. Okay, so now for that piece, I'm going to go ahead and pop it up with some foam squares. I'm just going to cut that in half because it was a little bit too big. It's so much fun making cards. I don't know about you guys, but I really love it. And, when I make these videos for you guys, I watch myself and I have to laugh at myself sometimes because the things that I do, I don't even notice I'm doing it when I'm making the card. But then later I'm like, why was I so crazy about that? But it's lots of fun. And I hope that I provide you guys with lots of inspiration and fun things too. so that you can enjoy it as much as I do. I've learned a lot watching other people, and I think that's important. I think that we learn from each other, and that's how we can, encourage each other and benefit each other, and even bless each other. So I hope you guys are blessed by this. Now, I don't know about you, but it's kind of getting a little tedious watch myself do this, so I'm going to speed up the video to twice the speed that I had it, and we'll just finish because I'm almost done with these flowers here. One of the things that I constantly do when I'm making cards is I always seem to get ahead of myself and then end up having to go back and change it, which I did with this flower. I forgot to put the stem. So, and then with this one, I decide to go ahead and try to add it there to the other one to make it look like it's connected to that other flower. But I don't like the way the two are coming together, so I just use another petal to cover that up. And that's what we do when we're making cards and things or being creative. We just kind of go along as we're making it and try to make things work. I don't know about you, but I'm not very good about planning ahead of, I have a general idea in my head, but I don't really do very well with planning things out, so I kind of get a general idea and then go on. Okay guys, so that's it, and here's a look at the final cards. I didn't show every single card being made, but you can see the two different techniques that I used with embossing with a stencil, and then taking the color off with spritzing it with the stencil with water, and then using a brayer to get that color off. So those are those two cards on the bottom. So I hope you enjoyed this video today. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe, and enjoy your day. Bye-bye.